Hey guys, it's Destiny, and with the recent release of Sparkle, I thought we'd go over a tier list and see where our newest trickster is placed, as well as if she improved the placements of other characters. If you guys do enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe and also leave a like to support the video. But before we carry on, one quick question I thought I'd ask you guys: is there a game you guys wish you could experience again for the first time? For me personally, a game I think I'd have to go with is Pokemon Emerald. The experience was so much fun when I was a kid, and while I do replay it every once in a while, I would just love to relive that experience all over again. Now though, let's get straight into the video. So for today, we'll be taking a look at Pride 1's tier list. I do like looking at Pride 1 periodically just to see where they may have changed things, or if nothing has changed at all. We will be taking a look at their changelog just to see the explanations for why they did change things from last time. But I will give you my thoughts first, and then we will go from there, and then of course look at the changelog. So to begin, I wanted to actually start off with where they place Sparkle, which they actually ended up placing Sparkle in S+, alongside Ruan-Mei. So the first question I really want to ask you guys is that, do you guys feel like Ruan-Mei and Sparkle are on equal playing fields? For me personally, I guess it kind of just depends on the team. I do feel like Sparkle's impact when it does come to team comps is incredibly good when it comes to what she can offer for teams overall. The reason I say this is that her 50% advance forward is just really strong, even though it's not considered 100%. Her being able to push up an ally behind her anyway just makes her really good, especially for the fact that she's able to give you such a healthy amount of crit damage bonus every time she does this. And if your Sparkle always goes right before that DPS character goes and you keep using skill over and over again, you basically have that crit damage buff practically at all times. And I know a lot of people were kind of on the boat of, okay, she seems very quantum oriented or Dan Hong Il oriented, but now that she's out, we could definitely see that she's way more versatile. I do think she's an awesome choice for characters like Jing Yuan. She can also technically work with our follow-up attackers because of the way that one of her traces works is that when she uses her skill on an ally, that crit damage buff doesn't go away until the start of their next turn. So why this is really good is, let's say you have a follow-up attack in between from that character getting the buff and when the next turn for them begins, that crit damage will still apply for that follow-up attack since the buff has technically not gone away. So when it comes to follow-up attackers, Sparkle absolutely has potential to shine quite a lot. I mean, her name is also Sparkle, so maybe she's meant to sparkle and shine. Okay, I really need to stop with my lame puns, like every time I talk about Sparkle, but her skill point abundance is also really strong. I do think that this definitely helps when it comes to team comps, and if we do get more skill point hungry characters in the future, because I know right now some of our hungriest skill point characters can be Zila, Qingque, Dan Hong Il, and so on. Like, there's a good amount, but I don't feel like there's technically enough where it's like, okay, the abundance of skill points benefits absolutely every team. Now granted, I will say the abundance of skill points basically allows you to skill spam with your other characters way more often, which in turn just lets you have your ultimate way more often. Even when I play Sparkle with Jing Yuan and Ting Yun, I like skill spamming on Ting Yun just to get her ultimate for the energy as fast as possible, which in turn benefits Jing Yuan. And you're only really allowed to do this if you do have that abundance of skill points. Characters like Hanya have been able to help with this in the past as well, but I do think Sparkle is the best at allowing that abundance so that you can just skill spam certain characters, get your energy back as fast as possible. So I feel like personally she's an incredible character. Now some may not think she is Ruan-Mei tier. I'm not too sure what I would personally say on that. I feel like she's above the S tier characters personally, but I don't know at the same time if I would say she's also Ruan-Mei tier. Now, I guess honestly, it kind of just depends on the team comp. So I feel like the S+ tiering, personally, I think that's fine. I think that when it comes to a meta perspective, once again, if we do get more skill point hungry characters, Sparkle is really gonna shine with those characters and those pairings, and she's going to allow you to have a very comfortable play style overall. So that's definitely another thing that is a bonus for her for sure. And if we were to look at the rest of the tier list, as we see, Dawn Honggael is now an S+ alongside Jingliu. I had a very strong feeling this was going to happen because of Sparkle releasing. A lot of us have been hyping up that Sparkle and Dawn Honggael will be the pairing that ends up being one of his best pairings, and it definitely was the case because once again, that abundance of skill points is super freaking handy. Dawn Honggael now is just able to dominate the battlefield. You're going to be able to maximize his basic attack potential with how much skill points you now have with a character like Sparkle on the team. So this pairing is really strong, and if we were to look at the changelog real quick, they have increased him because the biggest issue in teams with him has always been skill point management. He had a wide array of decent teammate options already, but with the release of Sparkle, he gains a new powerful one who greatly assists with the skill point troubles. All in but long fights, her early influx of skill points is a complete game changer for Imbibitor Lunae, and with his skill point issues solved and with the addition of the new best in slot support at E0, his viability and power is now S+ quality. I 100% agree with this. I feel like for all of you guys that main Dawn Honggael, yeah, he's definitely doing amazing right now. And one thing I actually forgot to mention about Sparkle that I really like as well for her S+ tiering is that Sparkle makes it easier to build your crit values on your characters. Even without her light cone because of that crit damage bonus, let's say you aren't the most fortunate with crit damage rolls, well with Sparkle, now you can definitely bump up your crit damage by quite a lot. And it kind of does help out with, let's say you had that lack of crit damage, well now you don't. Sparkle just makes it so much easier to be able to play certain teams and just have a lot of comfortability. Dawn Honggael also highly benefited. That crit damage bonus is definitely really good as well, because on his own he's able to get a good amount of crit rate for sure, especially if you build into it as well. And since he is a multi-hitting character, when a character hits numerous times in their attacks, you 100% want to ensure they land these critical hits, but also a good amount of crit damage. So I'm really happy that he did get bumped up to S+. I think it's completely valid, and I'm very happy for him. And I'm sure all our Dawn Honggael mains are really happy as well. Another person who got bumped up though is Jing Yuan. I 100% agree with this. I recently showcased it as I mentioned previously. Jing Yuan and Sparkle is such a good combination because with Sparkle advancing Jing Yuan forward, now you can easily have 10 stacks of Lightning Lord pretty consistently, especially if your Sparkle is also kind of on the faster side in my opinion. I recently showcased it where I used a faster Sparkle with Jing Yuan using attack boots, and the combo did really well together. I was able to get consistent amount of Lightning Lord stacks, and that crit damage bonus will still apply to Lightning Lord because it doesn't go away until the start of Jing Yuan's following turn, which then I would just keep using Sparkle's skill on him anyway. So he basically had this crit damage bonus at all times. So this combo is definitely really good. And if we were to look real quick at the changelog, they bumped up Jing Yuan because he gained a good amount of power due to the release of Sparkle. She gives him high effective speed with her skill action advance, as well as a massive lingering damage boost. That is also true. That actually benefits Lightning Lord. Something like a character like Bronya was previously unable to do it for him unless you had her at E6, bringing his potential in line with the other S tier damage dealers. Sparkle boosts Jing Yuan even more if you're able to acquire her signature light cone, making him even stronger, but this is outside of the tier list criteria. If you guys do have that light cone definitely is, like, it is such a great light cone if you want even more crit values on your characters. But yeah, Jing Yuan definitely benefited, and I'm really happy for him. I'm sure Jing Yuan mains are also pretty happy. And one thing I forgot to actually mention about Sparkle is that when you run her faster especially, it's so nice to be able to put attack boots on your DPS characters because she's going to advance them forward anyway. So attack boots is way easier to use on characters rather than trying to get, let's say, you really wanted a certain speed threshold. Well, you don't have to worry as much about your speed threshold on your DPS and mainly just invest it into Sparkle just because she just advances them forward anyway. That's a huge bonus that Sparkle is also able to give. And then for the rest of the tier list, we did have a few characters move around, not too many. Asta and Hanya did go from, I'm guessing, A tier to B tier. So I'm not too sure if I honestly agree with this. I feel like personally they probably could have just stayed in A tier. I do think Hanya, her burden effect is pretty useful. And yeah, she also does help you regenerate skill points, which is probably part of the reason why they may have dropped her. And for Asta's case, I personally think Asta should be a minimum A character. I mean, her name is literally Asta, A for Asta. I feel like her way of, it's kind of turn manipulation, but at the same time it's not. I just like how Asta is able to increase the speed of all your allies. And then if you pair her with Dance Dance Dance, it can make for a really, really good combination of just always allowing your allies to get pushed forward and just be able to go more within cycles. So I think she could be minimum A personally. If I were to look real quick why they dropped her, the release of Ruan Mei made many players switch out their 4-star harmonies. She single-handedly raised the bar for harmony and as a result lowered the relative performance and play rate of characters such as Hanya, Yukong, and Asta. The release of Sparkle was one more step towards this direction, as Sparkle was a clear and direct upgrade to many of these characters and teams where they were previously best in slot. She also synergizes with characters like Silverwolf, Pela, Ruan Mei, Jing Yuan. Okay, honestly, I do agree with this to some degree as well. I do feel like these new Harmony characters that are coming up set the bar really high for what a Harmony character should be able to bring to team comps, and the fact that these Harmony characters also synergize really well with one another is another point as well, and that's the same reasoning as for why Hanya got dropped. It's mainly that Ruan Mei and Sparkle just set this bar really, really high. Once again, I feel like maybe they could have just stayed in A. I get the reasoning though, and I kind of want to know if you guys agree with that reasoning, or do you guys feel like they should have just remained in A tier? And as for Yukong's drop, I believe it's the same reason, but I'll just double check. Okay, so basically because of Hanya and Asta moving down, Yukong also moved down, and even before Yukong was primarily used in the Imbibitor Lunae teams, and Sparkle's release heavily affected her usage rates. Got you. And then Sushong also dropped because performance and usage rates. So, okay. I feel so bad for Sushong. We need some Sushong justice, I'm not gonna lie. This character just keeps getting dropped, and I feel like she's such a great character. Like, using her ultimate skill combination is just really, really good. But at the end of the day, it just kind of depends, because we're getting so many DPS options that a lot of our other DPS characters might just kind of been, I guess, forgotten about in a sense. But I still love Sushong personally, but I would like to know, do you guys feel like Sushong should be C tier? Or do you guys feel like she should be the B or the A tier alongside other characters? Because the reasoning just primarily seems to be, you know, performance, usage, and stuff like that. So I would just want to know what you guys think. Our sustains haven't been touched, and I always say this in majority of my videos when it comes to the sustains. I feel like the options are pretty versatile with what you can use on a team. Fushwen being S+ does not mean like Huohuo and Luocha are not obviously great options as well, and yes, they are just the tier below her, but some cases I do like using Huohuo over Fushwen. Kind of depends on the team. Like the damage over time team, I way much prefer Huohuo on those teams, or just teams in general that require maybe more energies is required for the team, so Huohuo can come in really handy there. Her cleansing is also really, really nice, and just the healing overall. Luocha's emergency healing is really nice. His Abyss Flower field just makes you heal so much, so honestly, it's just such a nice touch. So I feel like all of these sustains are honestly incredible. I do wonder though, when Adventurin releases, if the tier list will get shifted for our sustains, if he'll end up being an S+ on the moment of his release, or maybe he'll be an S tier. I'm really not sure where he's going to be placed. I guess once we get more information, we can know where they're going to place him and what he'll be able to offer for teams. And if I were to take a quick look at Pure Fiction, not much has really changed. It's just that they dropped down, you know, Hanya, Yukong, and Asta a bit, which if I were to guess, it's mainly just the reasons of Ruan Mei and Sparkle. Jing Yuan did go up in Pure Fiction as well, but other than that, not much has changed for this tier list. Overall, if we were to just take a quick look once again, Imbibitor Lunae has gone up. I think that's completely understandable and definitely worth upgrading him from S to S+. He definitely got his best partner in crime now, which is definitely Sparkle. Jing Yuan going up is 100% valid as well in my opinion. I do feel like Sparkle, when it comes to team comps, she's really comfortable to play with characters like Qingque. Characters like Zila also benefited as well. And there were quite a good amount of characters overall that did get a good benefit from Sparkle. So I could see why at that point she could be an S+ character as well. Asa, Hanya, and Yukong have moved down as well as Sushong. Once again, I feel like these characters probably just could have stayed where they were, but I do understand the reasoning as to why they dropped. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the tier list is in a pretty good spot right now? Would you move anybody? Maybe up, maybe down? Or once again, do you feel it's fine where it is right now? And I'm really curious to see when Acheron and Venturine come out, how the tier list might end up getting shifted. And once that happens, I'll definitely make sure to go over that as well for you guys. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, do make sure to subscribe. Leave a like to support the video as well, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.